Something strange is happening at Heartland. The fires may have stopped burning, but the smoke hasn't cleared. Because this time, the real danger isn't in the forest, it's inside the family. As Amy tries to rebuild her life after the chaos of the last episode, secrets begin to rise from the ashes. One conversation, one decision, and one unexpected betrayal will change everything. They thought the worst was over. But what's coming next will test every bond, every promise, and every heart at Heartland Ranch. The morning after the fires feels unreal. The sky above Alberta is still heavy with smoke, turning everything into a pale orange haze. The fields, once full of life, and now carry the quiet sound of loss. Amy steps outside the house, her boots sinking into the blackened soil, and takes a deep breath that tastes of ash and memory. The land she has spent her life protecting looks wounded, and for the first time in a long while, she doesn't know where to begin healing it. Inside, the family moves slowly, silent, thoughtful, shaken. Jack sits by the window, staring out at the horizon with that familiar expression he wears when something deep inside him is broken, but he refuses to admit it. Tim paces back and forth, already talking about rebuilding fences and calling insurance, trying to fix everything with his usual stubborn energy. Lou checks her phone every few minutes, organising community relief groups and government calls, keeping herself busy so she doesn't have to think about the memories of the night before, the fire's roar, the animals' cries, and the fear of losing everything. But Amy isn't thinking about the land or the buildings. She's thinking about Lindy. The image of her daughter clutching that framed picture of Ty while smoke filled their home is something Amy can't shake. Lindy barely spoke this morning. She just sat at the table, drawing quietly. And when Amy asked what she was sketching, she said, "It's the fire, Mum." But I made it stop this time. Those words hit Amy like a punch. Because deep down, she knows she didn't make it stop. She ran into the flames, and she left her daughter behind again. Nathan arrives not long after. His truck pulls up, covered in dust and ash, his shirt still smelling like smoke. When Amy sees him, her heart softens for a moment. He's the one person who stayed by her side when everything was collapsing. He helped her save that horse. He risked his life for her. But now, standing there in the cold light of morning, she can sense something different in him, a quiet tension, a hesitation in his eyes that wasn't there before. Nathan tries to smile. "You okay?" Amy nods, forcing herself to sound strong. "We're fine." Just trying to make sense of it all. He glances around at the damaged barns, the fences half burned, and the distant hills still smoking. "I can help," he says softly. "Whatever you need." But before Amy can answer, Lou steps outside, her voice tight. "Actually, Nathan, maybe you shouldn't be here right now." The air turns heavy. Amy looks at her sister, confused. Lou folds her arms. "We need space, Amy." The ranch, the family, we've got too much going on. And given everything that happened with his sister and the deal... Nathan cuts her off. "Lou, that wasn't me." "I know," she says sharply, "but it was your family. And until things are clear, we can't risk anything else." Amy tries to speak, but Nathan simply nods. "It's okay." "I get it." He gives her one last look, a quiet, aching look, before turning back to his truck. The engine starts, and within seconds, he's gone. As the sound fades, Amy feels something breaking inside her. She turns to Lou. "You had no right." "I'm protecting this family," Lou snaps back. "And you should too." "You saw what happened when we let outsiders get too close." And Amy wants to scream, but instead she just walks away. Her eyes sting, not from smoke this time, but from something deeper. That night, as the ranch settles into uneasy quiet, Amy walks into the barn alone. The horses shift softly in their stalls, their breath visible in the cold air. She runs her hand down the side of Spartan's neck, feeling the warmth of the animal against her palm. It's grounding, familiar, a reminder that not everything has been lost. But when she looks down, she notices something strange. A small piece of paper tucked under the stall door. She bends down, picks it up and unfolds it. It's a map, hand-drawn, old and marked with a red circle near the edge of the property. Next to it, 2 words are written in uneven handwriting. Don't trust them. Amy's heartbeat quickens. Who left it there? What does it mean? For the first time since the fire, she feels something sharper than grief. Fear. And as the wind howls outside the barn, she realises the fire wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. The next morning, Heartland seems eerily calm. The air smells like wet ash after the firefighters drenched what was left of the smouldering fields overnight. But inside Amy's chest, that calm is a lie. The note still burns in her pocket like a live coal. Don't trust them. The words replay again and again in her head as she walks through the ranch. She doesn't tell anyone, not Jack, not Lou, not even Tim, because whoever wrote that note must know something dangerous enough to leave it in secret. And if it's about the ranch or the people around her, she needs to understand it before anyone else does. Jack notices the distance immediately at breakfast when everyone sits down. Lou checking emails, Tim talking about rebuilding the fences, Katie scrolling through her phone. Amy barely touches her food. Jack's voice cuts through the noise, slow and careful. "You all right, Amy?" "I'm fine," she says too quickly. But her voice trembles slightly, just enough for him to raise an eyebrow. Jack doesn't push her, but his look says it all. You can't hide forever, kid. When breakfast ends, Amy walks to the barn again. She searches the stalls carefully this time. The corners, the old feed bags, even the shelf behind the tools. Nothing. Whoever left that message knew how to vanish. Still, Amy's instinct tells her the warning isn't random. And then she remembers something Nathan said last night before Lou interrupted him. "You saw what happened with my sister." But there's more to it than you think. Nathan's sister, Caroline, had been working with Lou on a new deal to bring in eco-funding for the ranch. Something about renewable projects and land development. But the day before the fires, Lou discovered Caroline had signed a side agreement with a private investor, giving them access to parts of Heartland's land without permission. Lou called it a betrayal. Nathan called it a misunderstanding. Now Amy wonders if it's something worse. That afternoon, she drives into Hudson. The town feels different, busier, louder. People talk about the fires, about the losses, about rebuilding. But Amy can't stop thinking about that note. She parks her truck near the feed store and spots Nathan outside loading supplies into his vehicle. He looks up and freezes when he sees her. "Amy," he says quietly, "didn't think I'd see you here." "I need to talk," she replies, her tone low but firm. They step behind the building, away from the crowd. Amy takes the folded paper from her pocket and shows it to him. "Did you write this?" Nathan frowns. "At what number? Where did you get it?" "In the barn, after you left." He studies the note for a moment. "This handwriting, it's not mine, but I've seen something like it before." And Amy's heart skips. "Where?" Nathan hesitates. "My sister keeps notes like this, maps, diagrams, names. She used to do that when she worked for her old company. Said it helped her stay ahead of people who might turn. I thought it was paranoia. Maybe it wasn't." Amy's pulse quickens. "So you think this came from her?" "I don't know. But if it did, it means she's watching you, watching Heartland." And a chill runs through Amy. Why would she... Nathan cuts her off. "Because she's in trouble, Amy. I think Caroline got mixed up with someone dangerous. She didn't betray the ranch for money. She did it because she had no choice." Amy looks at him, trying to read the truth in his eyes, but trust is hard now. Not after everything. "And why are you just telling me this now?" "Because I wasn't sure until today," Nathan admits. "I found something in her truck this morning. A contract with no names, just signatures and a logo. The same one that was on the investors' documents Lou mentioned. It's a private environmental group, but not the kind that saves forests. The kind that buys them, clears them, and calls it progress." Amy stares at him, speechless. Heartland's land. Ty's land. The place her daughter was supposed to grow up safe. Now targeted by faceless investors. She grips the note tighter. "If you're right, Nathan, then the fires weren't an accident." He nods slowly. "Oh, no, they were a warning." The words hit her like thunder. Amy feels the world tilt slightly. If the fire was meant to drive them out, it means someone wanted Heartland weakened. Desperate enough to sell or scared enough to leave. And if Caroline was involved even indirectly, Lou's new project might be the perfect cover for something much darker. Amy drives home in silence, the note resting beside her on the seat. Every fence post, every burned tree she passes feels like it's whispering a secret she hasn't heard yet. By the time she reaches the ranch, the sun is setting. A red-orange glow across the hills, like the fire never really left. Inside, Lou is waiting. She's sitting at the kitchen table, arms folded, eyes cold. "You met Nathan today," she says, not asking but declaring. Amy doesn't deny it. Yes, because I needed answers. Answers about what? Amy hesitates. About Caroline, about the deal, about what's really going on at Lou Stan's. What's really going on is that he's using you, Amy. His family already cost us thousands. You think I'm overreacting? Wait until the papers arrive. Half the town's gossiping about how the Fleming sisters can't even manage their own land. Amy takes a step forward. This isn't gossip, Lou. It's a setup. Someone's trying to take Heartland from us. Lou laughs bitterly. And you figured that out from one secret meeting and a crumpled piece of paper? Amy doesn't answer. She just places the note on the table. Lou picks it up, scans it, and frowns. For a moment, her confident expression flickers. Where did you get this? She whispers. The barn, Amy says, and I think Caroline's behind it. Lou stares at the note again, then looks up at Amy, her face pale. If that's true, then we're already in danger. The room falls silent. The only sound is the ticking clock and the faint creak of the wind outside. Then, from somewhere deep in the barn, a noise breaks the stillness. A loud thud, like a door slamming. Amy and Lou exchange glances. Without a word, they both run out into the night. The barn lights flicker. The horses are restless. Amy rushes forward, and there, on the ground, near Spartan's stall, is another piece of paper. Torn, dirty, but legible. 3 words this time, scrawled in the same uneven handwriting. The wind howls through the barn as Amy and Lou stare at the new message. They're watching you. The words hang in the air like smoke, invisible but suffocating. Amy clutches the torn paper in her hand, her knuckles white. Lou looks around, scanning the corners of the barn, her voice low and sharp. Who's there? She calls out. No answer, only the creak of old wood and the nervous shuffle of horses. Jack arrives a moment later. Drawn by the noise, his eyes move from the sisters to the crumpled paper. What's going on here? Amy takes a deep breath and hands it to him. We found this. Someone's been leaving notes around the ranch. Jack reads it silently, then glances up, his jaw tightening. That's not a prank. Someone's playing a dangerous game. Lou crosses her arms, trying to stay calm. But who, Jack? We're in the middle of nowhere. No one just strolls into Heartland without us knowing. Jack's eyes drift to the far side of the barn, to the broken latch on the side door. Someone did. Amy feels her stomach twist. You think it's Caroline? Jack sighs. I think you shouldn't jump to conclusions. But whoever it is, they know this place, and they're trying to scare you. But Amy isn't scared anymore. She's angry. Because this ranch has been through storms, droughts, and heartbreak. But it has always survived. Whoever's behind this wants to make her feel powerless, and she refuses to let that happen. That night, Amy barely sleeps. The house feels too quiet, every creak in the hallway like footsteps. When she does drift off, she dreams of the fire again, the smoke, the panic, the red sky. But this time she sees someone standing at the edge of the flames, watching her. A figure in a dark jacket. When she tries to run toward them, the fire pulls her back and she wakes up in a cold sweat. Morning comes grey and heavy. Lou has gone into town for a meeting with local officials about the damages, and Tim is out helping neighbours fix fences. That leaves Amy and Jack alone on the ranch. Amy feeds the horses, but her mind isn't on them. She keeps replaying Nathan's words, the fires were a warning. Later that afternoon, she drives to the hill overlooking the property. The same spot Ty used to stand when he needed to think. The air is still. From there, she can see the charred edges of the forest, the fields where the fire stopped as if it hit an invisible wall. And then she sees it. Tyre tracks. Fresh ones curving around the edge of the property near the fence line. Amy kneels to inspect them. The soil is damp. The tread deep. Not a farm truck. Heavier, wider, industrial. Whoever came here wasn't just passing by. They were watching. When she returns to the house, she finds Jack on the porch sipping coffee. He looks at her and frowns. You look like you've seen a ghost. Maybe I have, Amy says quietly. Someone's been driving out near the east fence. Big tyres. Not from around here. Jack puts down his mug. You sure? She nods. And there's more. I think Nathan's sister might be involved, but I don't know how deep this goes. Jack leans back thinking. Amy, listen. I know you want answers, but you've got to be careful. Whoever's doing this, they're trying to push you into making mistakes. Don't give them that power. But Amy's resolve is set. She knows what she felt in her gut, that this isn't over. And if someone is trying to take Heartland, She'll find them before they strike again. Just before sunset, Nathan shows up at the ranch. Amy doesn't want to see him, not after the fight with Lou, but the look on his face stops her. He's pale, shaken. "Amy," he says breathlessly, "I think you were right." She freezes. "Right about what?" He hands her a file. Edges burned and dirty. "This was in Caroline's truck. It's a contract, an agreement between her and the company she's been working for. They call themselves Clear Sky Development. It's supposed to be a renewable energy group. But look at this." Amy flips through the pages. The language is complicated, full of legal jargon, but one clause stands out. Ownership of secondary land parcels upon environmental hazard designation. Her eyes widen. "Environmental hazard? Like the fire?" Nathan nods grimly. "Exactly. The moment the government labels this land unsafe, it becomes available for acquisition, and Clear Sky gets first rights." Amy's hands tremble. "So the fire wasn't just to scare us. It was to make the land theirs." "And Caroline signed the papers," Nathan says, guilt clouding his voice. "I think she realised what she'd done, and she's been trying to warn you ever since." Amy looks at him, disbelief mixing with anger. "Then why didn't she just come here? Why hide behind these notes?" Nathan shakes his head. "Because she's being followed, and she's not the only one." And before Amy can ask what he means, his phone buzzes. He pulls it out. One new message. He turns the screen toward her. It's a photo of them standing by the barn earlier, taken from a distance. Below it, a text. "But stop digging, or you'll lose more than land." Amy's heart races. Someone is watching them right now. Nathan curses under his breath, scanning the tree line. "We need to tell Jack now." They rush inside, lock the doors, and gather Jack and Lou. Lou's face turns pale when she sees the message. "This is insane," she whispers. "Who would do this?" Nathan spreads the papers on the table. "Whoever owns Clear Sky? They've been using Caroline to get close to you, to this ranch. The fire was the start. They wanted to scare you into signing away control." Lou shakes her head, refusing to believe it. "No, I checked every contract. None of this makes sense." Amy steps closer. "Lou, think about it. The timing, the fire, the deal, the missing files from your office. It's all connected." Jack rubs his temples. "All right, let's not panic. If someone's targeting Heartland, we'll deal with it. But we need proof before we start pointing fingers." Nathan looks at Amy. "There's one place Caroline kept her files. An old cabin near the ridge. If we can get there before they do, we might find everything we need." Amy nods. "Then we go tonight?" Jack frowns. "At night? Are you out of your minds? Whoever's behind this could still be out there." Amy's eyes harden. "Then it's time they know we're not afraid." Outside, the sky darkens into a deep red twilight. The wind picks up, carrying the faint smell of burned pine. Somewhere beyond the hills, a truck engine starts. It's slow, distant, deliberate.
Heartland is no longer just home. It's the center of a storm. And Amy Fleming is about to walk straight into it.